Hey, check this out, guys. Average apartment locator salary. Okay, what does Indeed say? Indeed.com. Okay, average is approximately $76,000. And then you've got other sites saying 44 an hour. Simply Hired is saying apartment locator salaries in Austin, Texas, this is the city I'm in, $91,000 average. Like, guys, the average income of a locator is more than a realtor anyways, just naturally. And we're unaffected by the whole settlement. So you might as well just switch your practice over to being a locator, make six figures right away as a locator. It's paperless. You can do it from home with Wi-Fi. And then as the same clientele transitions into buying their first home, just upsell them on a new home. Done. Problem solved. Settlement doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that you have to negotiate now for your buyer commission and that it can't be on the MLS listings. Doesn't even matter. You don't even need MLS access. Who else Googled NAR settlement? Let's read what is going on right now. The proposed settlement includes the association paying $418 million in damages over 4 years. It also prohibits sellers agents from listing buyer agent compensation on the MLS listing. So it's going to make buyer agents have to negotiate that with the buyers. That's interesting. That's really important. And requires buyers agents to have written contracts in place with their clients for official representation. Well, that's just a buyer's rep. Smart agents were doing this anyways, is getting buyer's reps before proceeding with business. So this doesn't change much, but what's interesting to me is this right here. Prohibits seller agents from listing buyer agent compensation on the MLS. So if it's not on the MLS, then we're just supposed to negotiate our 3% commission as buyer's agents. This is going to change a lot on how real estate agents become compensated, especially as a buyer's agent. And it's easier to be a buyer's agent, especially if you're a new agent. Working with buyers is easier than working with sellers because you're not having to persuade someone that you're a better realtor, right? Hopefully you represent a first-time buyer and it's just easier. But this is going to change a lot. Guys, I've been making six figures with apartment locating for like the last 9 years. So none of this pertains to me or my real estate career as an agent, but these are just scary times. I mean, how to know if you're covered? Like, what do you mean how to know if we're covered? We're just real estate agents. NAR is getting sued. So everyone with a real estate license that's signed up for NAR, and if you call yourself a realtor and use the trademark, like you might have been affected. Is that what they're trying to say? Nearly every member is covered by the release of NAR negotiated in the settlement. Okay. The members not covered are those affiliated with Home Services of America, the last co-defendant, blah, 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 and these people. Okay. If you are affiliated with any of the following brokerage groups and are in an independent contractor licensee, you are covered by the proposed settlement. Okay, that's good for every realtor in the United States, even if your brokerage may not be covered. Man, that's just scary. Wow, even Redfin, United Real Estate, and more. All other realtors who are members of NAR on the data class notice are covered by the release. The data class notice is anticipated to be in mid-July. Negotiated release. What if they negotiated poorly? I wonder what would have happened to realtors. The release does not cover brokerage firms with residential transaction volume above $2 billion in 2022, despite NAR's effort to include them. Wow, just for being a realtor. That's why me and my agents and my followers, we don't sign up for the MLS, right? We're not trademarked realtors. All we do is focus on apartment locating because apartment locating is paperless, contractless. There's no way for us to get in trouble. Nothing really legally binds us. I mean, we don't work with contracts as apartment locators. This is what this channel is all about. So it's just really interesting to me. I see this news on all of NAR and it's just kind of scary. Like if you would have signed up to be a realtor and focused on selling homes like the majority of agents, right? There's 1.5 million active agents on the market compared to like less than 3,000 locators. So there's way more realtors than locators. But wow, I mean, what if they would have negotiated wrong, right? And just being affiliated with the MLS and being a realtor was dangerous for everyone. Luckily, NAR negotiated well, and everyday realtors don't have to pay anything. Hopefully, we'll see right in July, right? Like what actually happens. But it seems like the everyday realtor making the average income, it looks like those guys are safe. But us locators, on the other hand, are just not affected at all. The average income for a locator is over $70K because this doesn't really apply at all to the real estate agents focusing on apartment rentals. The thing that I kind of worry about is the veterans, right? Like what about the veterans taking advantage of the VA loans? Because we're not allowed to charge veterans commissions for real estate services, I wonder if a lot of real estate agents just will choose not to represent veterans, right? Because now we have to negotiate buyer agent payouts. Now they're going to be not listed on the MLS. It's going to make the buyers have to negotiate. But I wonder if agents now will work less with veterans because you're not allowed to charge them commission, right? And so if the seller now isn't going to pay buyer's agents, then who's going to pay the buyer agent? It's now even more negotiable than it was before because it's not listed on the MLS. The truth about the NAR settlement agreement. All right, let's read the truth about this on the NAR Realtor magazine. Probably a little bit biased, but whatever. Facts first. Yes, we need facts. There's much the media has gotten wrong about NAR's settlement, which would require the association to pay $418 million over 4 years. Some outlets have suggested that NAR previously set or guided commissions to a standard rate of 6%. Even President Joe Biden in recent comments misspoke in suggesting that this settlement makes commissions negotiable for the first time. Technically, in all of real estate, you could negotiate your commissions. I mean, you've heard of the realtor in your office that like negotiated the buyer or the seller to pay him 4% because they're an awesome top producer. I mean, things like that and deals like that have existed. So technically, NAR is right. Like it always has been negotiable. You can negotiate your real estate commission with buyers or sellers, but I mean, most of the market just understands and expects the 3% to the buyer and the 3% to the listing agent, right? I mean, and that's posted on the MLS, but now it's not going to be posted on the MLS. So that changes a lot. So this is just very interesting time to be alive right now. That is false. NAR does not set commissions, and commissions were negotiable long before this settlement. Okay, true. They are and will remain entirely negotiable between brokers and their clients, and housing prices are dictated by market forces beyond members' control. That's true. Okay, that's true. Getting the facts right is important, especially because the settlement agreement is complex. NAR is continuing to engage with media to correct inaccurate reporting about the settlement. The settlement achieves two important goals: protecting members to the greatest extent possible and preserving consumer choice. Good news, right? If you made less than $2 billion as a firm, you're not paying anything. That's good. Cooperative compensation as an option for consumers looking to buy or sell a home, as long as such offers of compensation occur off of the MLS. That's the big thing right there, because normally the 3% to the buyer is listed on the MLS. NAR interim CEO Nakia Wright said in a statement, "While there could be no perfect outcome, this agreement is the best outcome we could achieve in the circumstances. It provides a path forward for our industry, which makes up nearly 1/5 of the American economy." Yeah, very big deal. I wonder how much locators make up for the U.S. economy. Probably 0.0001%, right? Because me and my followers specialize in locating, and this just does not concern us because we're making 6 figures from home, working with Wi-Fi, just focusing on rentals. So apartments will still pay us our commission. It's usually a month of the year lease. Right? So locators are unaffected, while every realtor in the U.S. is affected. For over a century, NAR has protected and advanced the right to real property ownership in this country, and we remain focused on delivering on that core mission. Okay, good for you, NAR. Crazy to think that NAR is like a third-party private company and they have such influence in the real estate sector. But man, I mean, it just makes you wonder, what if they negotiated wrong? What if they negotiated wrong and we all had to pay a little piece of the settlement just for being a part of NAR? So in my opinion, the two things you could do to just kind of deal with this, if you're a current real estate agent, is one, maybe focus on new homes, right? Just be a buyer's agent and just help your clientele specifically buy new homes, because if you do that, the new home community will always pay you your 3%. You know, it's just easier to negotiate. You don't have to worry about, is the buyer paying? All right, my buyer doesn't want to pay. Let's see if the seller wants to pay. It's like, you know, you send over a client that wants to buy a new home in a certain neighborhood, and you just refer them to that new home staff, and they're going to take care of you. They'll pay you usually your 3%. Sometimes there's incentive to get paid more, right? You're not even dealing with a listing agent. It's just the company you're dealing with, right? So maybe you get into new home sales if you're a realtor, or you could do what we do and just get into rentals instead. Just be a locator instead of being a realtor, because locators don't have to deal with this NAR settlement at all. It doesn't affect anything for apartment locating, right? That's why we see a lot of realtors switching over to the locator model, right? Because our locator model just is economy proof, right? We don't deal with contracts or paperwork as locators, right? We just don't, right? We generate leads, people that need to rent an apartment. We execute 10-minute Zoom calls, and then we just follow up with them until they write our name on their rental application. But that's it. And then that gives us the ability to go ahead and send over an invoice to the apartment and collect 1 or 2 months as commission of the first month's rent, right? And if you guys have noticed in real estate, rent prices are increasing right now. So the average rent increased, like for 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and 3 bedrooms, right? $2,000 for a nice looking 2-2 is actually a great deal. Isn't that crazy? That used to be like super luxe. But right now in most markets, right, and if you're in a major city, a 2-2 Class A for $2,000 is a steal, right? It's usually like $2,400 and up, right? And so imagine receiving a month or 2 months as commission. That's over $2,000 in commission to like $4,000 or $5,000 in commission just by referring one person over to their next new apartment complex to rent, right? Paperless from home on your laptop. So consider becoming a locator, or just dealing with maybe new home construction sales, because it'll be easier to negotiate, easier to get that buyer's rep signed, or just be a locator. It's just a way easier model in the first place. And then as your rental clientele evolves and they want to buy their first home, because that's what the natural life cycle is of any American, right? The American dream is to rent an apartment first, advance in your career, save money, and then buy a house later. So focus your business on being a locator, and then evolve with the same clientele that have helped you make 6 figures with their apartment rental. Just evolve with them, and when they're ready to buy their first home, send them over to a new home community, and don't deal with resale, right? That way you don't even need access to the MLS, and you don't even need the trademarked realtor, right, at all. You don't need a super key, none of that stuff, right? You just go be a locator, work with rentals, and then take your clientele to new home neighborhoods, right? There's a lot of positives for new home construction right now anyways. They get that year warranty where absolutely everything is covered because it's a new home. They get that 10-year warranty on like the roof, foundation, right? Like they even get an appliance warranty the first year because it's a new home, right? So there's a lot of like guarantee there. There's a lot of warranties that just come included. There's a lot of incentives, right? Because these new home companies have a lot of the times their own lender, so they'll like pay the closing costs for the buyers in the new neighborhood, and this just makes a lot more sense, especially now that this settlement and everyone is making it harder for realtors to buyer agent realtors to negotiate their commissions. You might as well focus on new homes, but even easier, you might as well focus on rentals, and then just have your rental clientele, your locator clients evolve, and then send them to new home communities. That's what I would do. That's what I do actually, even though most of my business is apartment locator work, right? At the end of the year, after we've helped 1,000 leads that are interested in renting an apartment, okay? Because successful locators work like 100 leads a month. It's just the nature of the locating business. So we talk to about 100 leads in a month. 10 or 20% of them close and move forward with an apartment. It still puts us at 6 figures. But at the end of the year, right, you're working with about 1,000 leads that have ran through your website or your sales funnel. Just reach back out to them through your CRM and see if they want to buy a house next year. And then you can just take them to new home communities and just sell them on the idea of, hey, you rented an apartment. Looks like you want to buy your first house right now. You might as well pick a new home community because the house is brand new, never lived in. You get the better warranty for a year where everything's covered. You get the 10-year warranty where the roof is covered, the foundation's covered. Just sell them and upsell them on the warranty of the new home and that it's new, never lived in. People just like new home communities, right? They just like buying new homes. So if I were like a traditional realtor doing resale, which I'm not because I hate resale for this reason right now, what I would do is I would switch over my business practice to being a locator, and then I would help my current rental clientele buy new homes when they transition naturally. Okay, so that's what I would do, right? If you guys want to find out more about how maybe we can help you transition to our locator model, then all you got to do is go to nal.rent. We're the National Association of Locators. poke around on our website, watch the 10-minute video, see if being a locator could add value. And you're more than welcome to book a call with me or my team. So that way we can determine if maybe switching over to our locator model could make a lot of sense in your real estate career. Hey, check this out, guys. Average apartment locator salary, right? Okay, what does Indeed say? Indeed.com, okay, average is approximately $76,000. And then you've got other sites saying 44 an hour. Simply Hired is saying apartment locator salaries in Austin, Texas, is the city I'm in, $91,000 average. Like, guys, the average income of a locator is more than a realtor anyways, just naturally, and we're unaffected by the whole settlement. So you might as well just switch your practice over to being a locator, make 6 figures right away as a locator. It's paperless. You can do it from home with Wi-Fi. And then as the same clientele transitions into buying their first home, just upsell them on a new home. Done. Problem solved. Settlement doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that you have to negotiate now for your buyer commission and that it can't be on the MLS listings. Doesn't even matter. You don't even need MLS access. I hope this was helpful. Go to nal.rent if you want to book a call and see if we can help you. Bye-bye.